Is ABC 7 at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us this evening. For months, ABC 7 has been working to get you information on clusters of COVID-19 cases. Tonight, extra perspective on the timeline of events. This week alone, a city council vote protecting that data, the legal argument from the city attorney, and how that differs from the explanation we got from Mayor Margo today. But first, El Paso sets a new high for the number of COVID-19 related deaths reported in one day. 15 new deaths reported today, surpassing the previous high of 14, which was set last Thursday. The health department says 15 people did not die on the same day, but over the first 3 weeks of July, 204 new known cases were reported, but the number of active cases dropped. A record number of new recoveries were also reported at 484. That leaves a total of 3,564 active cases, as total cases have soared over 12,000 this week. The 15 reported deaths outpaced the entire county of Dallas today, which only reported 12. The population of Dallas County is 3 times that of El Paso. As always, you can find more data from today's reported cases on our website at kvia.com. And now for extra depth as ABC 7 works to get cluster data from the city of El Paso.
This all came to a head Tuesday during the city council meeting as representatives split right down the middle.
4 representatives argue the names of the businesses with outbreaks should be public and press El Paso's health authority, Dr. Hector Carranza, to release the names.
Really what I want to hear from the public health department, from our leaders, is that let's put the same amount of energy into disclosing to the public instead of putting all of this energy to talk about why it's wrong. Why is it good? Let's talk about that. Why is it good to disclose the names of the facilities so that people who were there at that time between these hours or what have you can go get tested so that they know that they need to go get tested. That's why it's good. It's not for shaming.
Our question is, if a business has only 5 employees and you release that information, how are you not disclosing who the people are?
Okay, and so when there's a measles outbreak, we do publish hotspots for measles, or when there's an outbreak, daycares, hospitals, correct? So we already do this. This is a best practice that we already do.
Well, actually, what you're talking about is how the investigation is carried out, because we're talking about 2 different things. If it is pertinent to the investigation, we want to know something, and that's how we release very specific information.
Carranza says they've identified facilities with their consent and with the goal of advancing the health investigation. But in a pandemic, he says things are different.
Disclosing a specific name in a problem that is citywide, it's not going to help in our investigation. It is not going to be pertinent, and that's why we need to address all these privacy issues.
And that discussion, which you just heard, ended with Representatives Peter Schwarzbein, Cassandra Hernandez, Alexandra Anello, and Henry Rivera voting to release the names of businesses with COVID-19 infections. Sam Morgan, Ceci Lizarraga, Isabel Salcedo, Claudia Lisset Rodriguez voted no, with the mayor breaking the tie to withhold that data.
Now, around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, ABC 7 received an unsolicited interview opportunity with City Attorney Carla Niemann. We were given less than 30 minutes from that time, and we accepted. So I tried to seek clarity on why the city claims it legally cannot release COVID-19 cluster data with specific locations.
Our statement to the Attorney General's office in regards to your open record was based on what the law allows our local health authority, which is to release statistical information without disclosing the identity of any person.
Right, but we're not talking about people, we're talking about locations. So why are you not releasing the information of specific locations?
Well, I disagree. We are releasing cluster information based on specific categories.
That's true, as shown in these weekly graphics released by the city that breaks down cluster information. But these breakdowns aren't specific identifiers as to precisely where clusters are happening, leaving El Pasoans in the dark.
That doesn't allow them to make informed decisions as to whether or not they want to go to certain places because of potential exposure at those places. People who make those decisions do not know based on the information that you're currently releasing.
Well, based on the information that we're currently releasing, you can tell that the clusters are in nursing homes.
And ABC7 has reported on outbreaks at multiple elderly care facilities. Each time we've asked the city to confirm COVID data we've received from those facilities, including the Ambrosio Guillen Veterans Home. The city says its public health department policy is to not release names of facilities.
That is something that should be available to anybody who wants to put a loved one in a nursing home. I don't believe that you should put the burden on all government to make those decisions for individuals.
Now, I also asked the city attorney if she was aware of any instances when cities were sued in other parts of the country for releasing this information. She said she is not.
And Eric, you continued this conversation today with Mayor DeMargo?
Yeah, so today we were still trying to get an explanation why the city won't release specific location information. And for the first time, we heard this explanation.
The legal definition of a person, which you can look up in Google and law libraries, refers to a human or a non-human entity that is treated as a person for limited legal purposes. In legal jargon, a person is either an individual, a corporation, an organization, a partnership, an LLP, you name it. It's too tenuous and it's not helpful. So you've got the confidentiality issue and you've got the economic harm that would occur just as a result of that disclosure. It makes no sense.
Again, that was Mayor DeMargo today. Let's look at the big picture, though. This is the timeline of how long ABC7 has been working to get you information. ABC7 made its initial public records request in May, asking for names and locations of clusters identified by the city's health department. The city cited a policy as a reason why they are withholding them. We asked the city for the policy, but it didn't exist.
And Eric, in June, city staff cited a Texas law that permits the release of such information as long as no person is identified. 3 days later, in a letter from the city attorney's office to Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, the city says the state law does not require them to release the information.
Now, the letter also states the city has determined the information cannot be released in a manner that unequivocally prevents identification of any person, but at no point in the letter to the AG is the legal definition provided by the mayor referenced today.
And ABC7 is still awaiting a final decision from the Attorney General. In just a few minutes, we'll hear from a First Amendment attorney here in Texas who explains why this information is so important to you.
And while cluster data will not be released for the time being, including names of businesses with local outbreaks, the community seems to be on the same page, wanting more information from officials. ABC7's JC Navarrete spoke to the local business community and their patrons, and JC joins us live. JC, what did you get from today's conversations?
Steph, good evening. That's right. We had a conversation with both those employers as well as their employees and those customers. Now, when we did talk to those business owners, many of them telling us they'd be willing to disclose some of that data information. At the same time, when we talked to those employees as well as those customers, many of them telling us they just want officials to be more transparent.
In my opinion, yes, sir. You need to inform your customers, even if you're going to lose or it's going to affect your business. Still, this is people's life, so you still need to inform people about it.
Samir Kassem is the manager of the Noor Mediterranean Grill. He understands what an infected employee could do to his business, but he's not alone. We also spoke to the folks with Fotre Bien and the Hunan Palace. They all agree on disclosing which businesses have positive cases.
Should businesses and facilities disclose the number of employees who have been infected by COVID-19?
I mean, I believe they should, because I think everybody should know if they've been exposed to someone with COVID-19.
Officials with the city say their move to keep this information private is in an effort to minimize apprehension towards supporting businesses that may have been infected. However, the manager of Hunan Palace tells us it's up to the business to make their customers feel comfortable.
I like to shop locally. So if I know that a business has had cases, but they've shut down and sanitized everything and taken care of what needs to be done, I'm still going to go. I just want them to be, straightforward about it and, do what they have to do to keep everyone safe.
Residents tell us they feel officials are prioritizing businesses and the economy over their health.
They want to keep the economy going, but they don't even care about lives that are being lost. They're not even taking the precautions of letting me know that they should let us know. That way we can take care of our families and our customers, and us individually.
Eric, Steph, out of the half a dozen people that we spoke with, they all could agree on one thing. They want transparency when it comes to these outbreaks, and they all want these businesses to disclose their cluster data. Reporting near downtown El Paso, JC Navarrete, ABC 7.
And this effort to try to get specific cluster information is widespread across the state of Texas. Last month, ABC 7 spoke with a First Amendment attorney out of Houston who believes this information should be made available to you, the public.
What's the point of withholding this information from the public? We're living with this pandemic. The whole idea, especially in a state, supposedly a conservative state like Texas, is that the citizens should be able to make up their own minds.
Meanwhile, this brings back